Welcome to the June 9th, 2025 meeting of the Sandusky City Commission. We'll have an invocation offered by Commissioner Crable, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay. Dear Lord, we thank you for the world which you have given us and the many joys, the many responsibilities that we have. Please bless this organization to express its wisdom as it handles this business today. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Myers, you call the roll.
Yes, Mr. President. Mr. Waddington.
Here.
Mr. Brady.
Here.
Mr. Murray.
Here.
Mr. Pajali.
Here.
Mr. Kuntz.
Here.
Mr. Crable.
Here.
Ms. Spargo. Here.
Commissioners, you have before the minutes of our meeting of May the 27th, 2025. What's your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Waddington.
I move that we accept the minutes of the May 27th meeting as presented.
Second.
Been a motion and a second discussion. Without objection, that motion will be approved. Hearing no objection, that motion is approved. Any residents with comments regarding tonight's agenda items, please step to the podium and share with us your name, address, and your agenda item comments.
Good
I ask you to
evening.
keep your comments to 3 minutes. if you
Absolutely.
can. If you can.
Tim Schwanker, 362 Sheffield Way. 3 questions on the agenda. First one is item A under the consent agenda, which is the new liquor license for Sandtown Holdings at 215 East Water Street. If my directions are correct, that's the former Saucy Brew Works building. This brings to question whether or not there is a planned occupancy for that building. I know it's been sitting vacant for a year and a half. Yep. The next item is item 1, which is the change of names for a couple of departments, I believe. And the question is, what do we figure will be the result of changing the names of a couple of departments? What's the end result? And the next question is item number 2, which is a change or a revision of tax abatement for the GMA project, which I believe is the former Sandusky Register. The question is, will the tax abatement, for public information, is that tax abatement only on exterior improvements, or does it also include any type of interior improvements? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schwager. Additional comments on agenda items?
Good evening, Sue Doherty, serving our seniors, 310 East Bolt Street. I'm commenting on agenda item E, and I want to reiterate my appreciation to the City of Sandusky for its work in helping all of us foster an environment that supports affordable housing. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Doherty. Any public comments on agenda items? Commissioners, you have before you several communications from staff recommending various pieces of legislation. Can I have a motion to accept these communications?
Second.
Been a motion and a second. Without objection, that motion will be approved, and hearing no objection, that motion is approved. Commissioners, we have 5 items on the consent agenda this evening. Do any of you wish to move any of those items to the regular agenda? Ms. Myers, you present the consent agenda.
Item A, new liquor license for Sandtown Holdings, LLC. Item B, approval for easements for Camp and West Forest Drive utility relocation project. Item C, approval of change order 1 and final for Venice Road Relief Storm Sewer Project. Item D, approval of change order number 1 and final for amenities at AMVETS and Sproul Parks Project. Item E, approval of land bank purchase and sale agreement of 813 North Depot Street to serving our seniors.
Commissioners, having heard the liquor license hearing request and ordinances, what is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Murray.
I move for the approval of the liquor license transfer and the several ordinances indicated in B through E pursuant to Section 14 of the city's charter.
Second.
Been a motion and a second discussion. That is correct. Regarding item A, that is the former property of most recently Saucy's Brew. Prior to that, it was Zinc Restaurant, and that really is all that I know about that, or that I think that we've been appraised of that property. This is simply a liquor license that was obtained by the owner of the property, and we'll be an amenity to whomever ends up in that site, I presume, by the owner, but I don't think any of us have any inside information, nor would we be inclined to disclose it if we did. Ms. Myers, you call the roll on that motion, please.
Yes, Mr. President. Mr. Waddington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Bajali?
Yes.
Mr. Kuntz?
Yes.
Mr. Crable?
Yes.
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
Now on the liquor license hearing request and the ordinances.
Mr. Waddington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Bajali?
Yes.
Mr. Kuntz?
Yes.
Mr. Crable?
Yes.
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
Those items are passed. Ms. Myers, you present item number 1 of the regular agenda.
It is requested an ordinance be passed amending Part 13 Building Code, Title I Building Administration, Chapter 1309 Residential Building Code, Board of Appeals, Title V Additional Local Provisions, Chapter 1345 Dangerous or Unfit Buildings, and the addition of Chapter 1347 Non-Vacant Commercial Building Property Maintenance of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Sandusky in the manner and way specifically set forth herein below.
Commissioners, having heard this ordinance, how do you wish to proceed?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Waddington.
I move that we pass this ordinance for first reading.
Second.
Been a motion and a second discussion.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Murray.
I'd just like to point out, this is legislation that, I'm not sure, there might have been some confusion about what its objective was, but we have long requested legislation, long needed legislation to address commercial buildings. When they fall into disrepair, we don't currently have any legislation that allows us to effectively address those owners the way that we do presently with residential properties. So this is a tool that we've needed for some time, and I'm glad that it's finally coming to us.
Additional comments or questions, Commissioners? Ms. Myers, you poll the commission on that motion, please.
Mr. Waddington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Bajali?
Yes.
Mr. Kuntz?
Yes.
Mr. Crable?
Yes.
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
And now on the ordinance.
Mr. Waddington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Bajali?
Yes.
Mr. Kuntz?
Yes.
Mr. Crable?
Yes.
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
That ordinance passed on first reading, and it will return to us at a future meeting. Ms. Myers, you present item number 2, please.
It is requested an ordinance be passed repealing ordinance number 25-115, passed on April 28, 2025, authorizing and directing the city manager to enter into an enterprise zone agreement with GMA Asset Management Group LLC relating to property located at 314 West Market Street and 233 Jackson Street, and declaring this ordinance shall take immediate effect in accordance with Section 14 of the city charter.
Commissioners, having heard this ordinance, what's your pleasure?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Coombs.
move for approval of this ordinance under item 2 in full accordance with section 14 of the city charter.
Second.
Been a motion and a second discussion. Ms. Gilson, I wonder if you could give us a brief explanation on what we're doing here. It appears to me that they missed a few parcels that they wanted to be able to include in this situation, and perhaps you can talk about what's included and what is not.
Sure. Thank you very much, and you're exactly correct. We are bringing this back, repealing the ordinance that was already approved and bringing it back with the entire parcel and all of the different addresses. The applicant had inadvertently missed a few parcels. So there was a question about the value. The value is actually set by the Rick Jeffries' office, not the city of Sandusky. So once it's improved, they will make those adjustments, and then there will be a tax relief for the increased value.
Ms. Gilson, comments or questions, Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Murray.
Just to point out, when it comes to appraising properties, it's a market-driven approach, and so it would necessarily include both exterior improvements and interior improvements that were permanent, that were part of the real estate, that were part of the fixtures, not furniture or those kinds of things. They have to be compared. It's difficult to do because you have to find comparable properties, but they have to be compared on a market basis. So it does include interior and exterior, but then it's compared to other sales in the community.
In my understanding, this is, Ms. Gilson, this is a 10-year, 75% abatement that we have notified the schools
That is
of
correct.
this change.
That is correct.
Great, thank you. Additional comments or questions, Commissioner? Ms. Myers, you poll the commission on the motion, please.
Mr. Wantington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Pajali?
Yes.
Mr. Coons?
Abstain.
Mr. Crable?
Yes.
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
And now on the ordinance.
Mr. Wantington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Pajali?
Yes.
Mr. Coons?
Abstain.
Mr. Crable?
Yes.
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
The ordinance is passed. Ms. Myers, you present our last item, item number 3.
It is requested that an ordinance be passed authorizing and directing the city manager to accept an entitlement grant in the amount of $699,040 total community development block grant funds for the program year of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, and to submit to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development a fiscal year 2025 one-year action plan, and declaring that this ordinance shall take immediate effect in accordance with Section 14 of the city charter.
Commissioners, having heard this ordinance, what is your pleasure?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Crable.
I would move approval of item 3, the ordinance under item 3, in full accordance with Section 14 of the city charter.
Second.
Been a motion and a second discussion. My recollection that this is only about an $8,000 deduction from what we had anticipated. I believe it was going to be about $708,000 what we anticipated. So I think in this economy and this environment, I think getting that small of a percentage of a deduction is a big win for the city. And we, I do believe, as we will in the future and as we have in the past, make very judicious use of this almost $700,000. Additional comments or questions, Commissioners? Ms. Myers, you poll the commission on that motion, please.
Mr. Wantington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Pajali?
Yes.
Mr. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Crable?
Yes.
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
And now on the ordinance.
Mr. Wantington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Pajali?
Yes.
Mr. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Crable?
Yes.
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
That ordinance is passed. That concludes our regular agenda. We'll turn to our city manager for his report.
Good evening, Commissioners, audience, and staff. Received this morning a framed piece of artwork depicting the Washington Park gazebo in a July 4th celebration. The donation was received from the Robert Troutman family, apparently passed away, and they had a description on the back of the artist and things like that. So it's a real nice piece of work. We'll get put up somewhere in the building. So if we get a motion to accept that donation.
So moved.
Second.
Been a motion, a second discussion. Without objection, that motion will be approved, and hearing no objection, that's approved with our thanks.
Thanks. The Sandusky Park and Recs would like to thank Eagles Nest Church on Pipe Street for donating 20 cases of Italian ices and 15 cases of Kool-Aid drink boxes for summer break camp. If we get a motion to accept that donation.
So moved.
Second.
Been a motion and a second discussion. Without objection, that motion will be approved, and hearing no objection, that motion is approved with our thanks to the Eagles Nest, and the kids will sure appreciate that too.
And Sandusky Park and Rec would like to thank the Friends of the Greenhouse for paying for the electrical supplies to add a 220 outlet to power the new soil shredder. The total amount was $138.64. Need a motion to accept that donation.
So moved.
Second.
Been a motion and a second discussion. Without objection, that motion will be approved, and hearing no objection, that motion is approved for the $138.64.
The next Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for Friday, June 13th at City Hall, beginning at 8 a.m. Public Works, all private sewer and water connections are installed for the first phase of the Camp and West Forest utility project. Sidewalks, driveways, and roadways are being reconstructed with an intended completion date around the 4th of July. The design build team of Mosier Construction and Osborne Engineering was selected from the cost and technical proposals received for the landing. Staff is in negotiations with the DBT regarding value engineering options in hopes of bringing a recommendation for award to Commission in July. And the application for housing technical assistance from April 2025, Resolution 14-25R was successful. The city has been awarded $50,000 from the Ohio Department of Development for technical assistance to support zoning revisions. The funding will allow staff to expand the scope of an upcoming project the Housing Development Accelerator, which will include a robust community engagement to determine the best course of action for increasing housing supplies in our city. And that concludes my report.
Questions or comments for our city manager, Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Waddick.
I think I talked to Mr. Erzak earlier, but I thought the Ohio Bike Week went well this year.
Oh, yeah.
I walked through it, did have a couple Brown Medicine bottles of beer, so I thought it was pretty good. Talked to a lot of people and got out of there quick.
Did that medicine have the desired effect?
I wanted one or two more, but my wife said I got to go.
You're not exactly cured in that case.
No, I hobbled in my truck.
Additional questions or comments for the city manager? If not, we'll move to items of old business, Commissioners. Do you have any items of old business? Any items of new business? Oh, you're making it too easy on me. No executive sessions, no items of old business, no items of new business. Any residents with comments regarding city business, this is your opportunity to tell us your thoughts. I'd ask that you step to the podium, give us your name and address for the record, and please keep your comments to 5 minutes.
Hello. Hope I'm in the right place. My name's Kim Black. I've lived in Sandusky since 2012. I've owned my home 8 years. It was an awesome neighborhood when I moved in 8 years ago. Neighborhood, fabulous neighbors. Well, we all got along great. Their house was sold because they were tenants. The house sold. They couldn't afford it. They got new people that bought it. Well, since they've bought it, he has a business and he does pallets. He finds pallets, brings them home, repairs them, loads them back up, sells them, burns the firewood. We have stacks and stacks and stacks of pallets. And the pallets come and they go. They come and they go. They come and they go. This is 7 days a week. I'm losing the quality of my home. I'm accosted by all the noises, constant. I mean, I've gotten way off of this, but the pallets are just ridiculous. And that's the whole thing I see, are the stacks of pallets. And I get to listen to his pallet repairs. I get to watch the giant fires of the broken pallet wood, which burns really fast and furious. And he does not attend his fires. He puts them, despite the weather, he has his fires and he goes back into the garage and starts working. So in April of 2023, I contacted code enforcement and I contacted Angela Costa, I can't say her last name. Her response was fast when I made a complaint to her and I sent her pictures. And it was fast, and she got him to at least get rid of all the pallets in his backyard. So he's only allowed to have them on the concrete from his back door, along the garage, which is dirt, and then in the garage. But she was not able to get him to stop doing it due to there's no code that says you can't run a business out of your home. So then I've sent her pictures in July and November, along with the little diary of the comings and the goings and the comings and the goings. So then, when I did that in November, I found out that that she was replaced with Ed Alexander. And his response to all my pictures and my diary was, this is a noise complaint. There's nothing we can do about it. If you want to complain, go to the police. Well, once again, I'm devastated. I mean, I can't enjoy my house. I have this huge covered back deck of my house. It's one of the reasons I bought my house. I enjoy it. I love sitting out there. But I can't sit out there very long because I get to listen to it next door. You go out in a coffee in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, to listen to birds. You don't get to listen to birds. You get to hear his saw, his circular saw, his hammers, and he's got a really heavy hammer so that he only has to hit it once. He's got an air compressor, an air nailer. There's a couple more things that you get to hear the whole thing. So then after I emailed Ed twice, and the second time I got no response at all, nothing. It was just, crickets. So then in December, one of his fires he had going, and the wind was really whipping, and it was coming straight to my garage. And our properties are kind of close. So I called the fire department. And I didn't call them about that fire. I called them to ask, what do I do? What happens if my garage burns down? What courses can I take? So he told me about the fire ban during the winter. And then we had more episodes of fires. So I have called the fire department. They've actually been out 3 times and read him the riot act. So then after that, I was also told by, so the fire department man I called or talked to, I'm so sorry about this.
Ma'am, we have a time limit, and I've let.
I'm already let my 5 minutes.
I've let you go a little, but I think we all get the picture. And what I would ask is if our city manager would, obviously you've given us a good address. I think we need to revisit that. And I could sympathize with what you're saying. If you have a tough neighbor in your neighborhood, it can make your life miserable 24/7. If there's something that we can do, Mr. Orzak will research that, and he will communicate both to you and to us what kind of solution might be available.
Tom Solomon's been trying to help me from the fire department.
I think we're taking it to the highest level we've got right now, and Mr. Orzak is our city manager.
That would be delightful.
He's the only person that we're responsible for, but he's responsible for 245 of our employees, and I think that he will at least review what you're telling us.
Okay.
Thanks for being here, and I sympathize with what you're saying.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Ma'am, if you want to hang around for just another 5 or 10 minutes,
No problem.
we can have that conversation privately.
Mr. Chairman, I would just, John will follow through on this, but it seems to me that the first thing to look at is see if that's zoned for a home occupation. If it's not, then there's some issues there. It could be.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Crable.
I know that I inquired of the fire department a couple of years ago, maybe at this point, about burning material on the back lot over at the winery property, and was told, absolutely not. Can't have open fires. How does this guy have an open fire? I would think that might be an avenue that we want to pursue.
I'm going to rely on Mr. Orzak to research that. He'll give this lady some direction and answer, and he'll also report to us, I'm sure.
I can imagine what it's like if sparks are being thrown.
Mm-hmm. Additional comments regarding anything that affects city business?
Thank you again. Tim Schwanger, 362 Sheffield Way. A couple days ago, I was contacted by a gentleman out of Akron. His name is Jamie Hoffey, and he's the president of North Coast Offshore, which is a power boating community. They have 325 members. And I believe he was up here over the weekend, and he took one look at our ramp, our boat ramp, our new docks, and indicated that he will be taking his group, which comes up here 8 times a year, anywhere from 8 to 10 boats. They ramp at Sandusky, they go to Kelly's, they go towards Cleveland, and a lot of times they spend money here in our restaurants. that they're going to take Sandusky off their list if our docks, our new docks, are not addressed with some of the issues of concern. And he did share with me that one of the big problems is that the stabilization poles that hold the docks in place are on the outside of the dock, which causes a major problem no matter what size boat or what kind of boat you have. The old docks, the poles were actually on the inside of the dock. In other words, there was a hole through the dock and the posts were put in that way. So that's creating a big issue. The new docks are very slippery. They're made out of a composite plastic compared to the old wooden docks, which were much more safe. The other issue is the cleats where you tie off. A lot of them are made out of composite material. They feel that the composite material will not hold up. They won't last very long. And I told this gentleman, I said, look, they're not going to send these docks back, but I'm sure there are some ways to adjust or make improvements to what we have that would address these issues, hopefully. And I know the city manager received an email, and I think Mr. Murray or maybe Mr. Brady received an email, and I know Mr. Kuntz received an email today sometime about it. So I told him I'd speak on his behalf because he had to work. He, like I said, he lives in Canton, and I told him I would speak on his behalf because I'm a boater myself. Okay, I use the boat ramp once a year just to put the boat in the water, and then again once a year to take it back out. But these guys come here a lot, and he told me what kind of boat he had, and I call it a go fast boat. Okay, it's like Miami Vice. These aren't cheap boats, folks. I mean, they're $400,000, $600,000, and like I said, they spend money here. So hopefully we can get together and make some improvements. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schwanger. We'll research that and get back to you.
I'm sorry. Darryl Garrett, 315 Decatur Street. To a question and a comment. First of all, the question. First of all, thank you for allowing me to come up here. The question is, I received a comment, and the young lady's out of town. She lives on Dorn Drive, and she asked me could I come and address the city commissioner. She has a Dorn Drive. I guess they have a lot of potholes, and she said there was only 2 done as of last Thursday, and she wanted to know when are the other potholes going to be finished on Dorn Drive. And she said the 2 that was done was between 708 and 712 Dorn Drive. And that's the question that she wanted to know, when will it be Dorn Drive be completed. Then the comment was, I have Chief Oliver for doing a speedy job on a question I asked him this afternoon, and he had the answer, and we're waiting for another answer, so thank you.
Well, Mr. Garrett, if we get that answer for you, can communicate that to you so we can communicate to the resident. Can we do that?
Yes, please.
Great. We'll do that. Thank you. Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Seth Strickfedden, 215 McDonough. First, I got a question. How much authority do you guys have over setting police policy?
Sir, this portion of our agenda is for the residents to give us their, or for anyone to give us their comments, but it's not meant to be a question and answer session.
Okay.
And that answer.
So I guess I'll just go on a hunt. I've been told that you guys set police policy. And if that's the case, I'm curious.
Well, I will break my own tradition by answering questions, but that's not the case.
Sure, appreciate that.
Okay.
So I'm curious about ICE cooperation with SPD and how much authority you guys have to stop that, frankly. There's been lots of cases where people are getting pulled over, people are getting, jobs are getting interrupted from legal immigrants. And in each case, SPD's been there assisting. And in some cases, it's just been SPD. Pulling, in one instance, a guy got pulled over, told to fill out some paperwork. It was all I. SPD was the only one involved. So I'm curious what authority you guys have over that.
You're asking a question that we're going to allow staff to respond to you, at a later,
Sure, of course.
Time.
That's all I have.
Okay. Have you given us a name and address?
Yes, Seth Strickfedden, 215 McDonough.
Okay, 2:15, we got that, Kathy. Good, we got a route back to you now.
Thank you.
Thanks. Additional comments on any item affecting city business?
Greetings, everyone. Tom Lamarca, 206 48th Street. I just want to commend the police department and the safety services for the great job they did with Bike Week. I think Bike Week went off pretty darn strong, and it kept EMS crews busier and heck all over the place, but they did it well. And I think that Sandusky will reflect out there further. Maybe you may not like that, but I think Bike Week will continue to grow. On another subject, the State Theater has the board that is in charge of the popcorn wagon. The city owns the popcorn wagon, I believe, and I don't care if they sell a box of popcorn or not, but they are responsible then for the popcorn wagon, and it is so full of dust and grime and oil and crud from the road construction and just not being tended to this year that I think that somebody should get the whips out on the board of directors and have them clean it up on a Saturday afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lamarca. Any additional comments from the audience regarding anything that affects our city?
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.